Okay, so today we're going to prep a turbot. We've got a whole turbot here. This is Cornish, about 3 kilo fish. So we're going to break it down. First thing I'm going to do is remove the head. So I'm just going to, you've got the collar here, which is just going to go around like so. You can feel it where the meat starts, the collarbone starts there. So we'll take it round about here, just where the bone, you can see the bone is here, and then I'm going to take it down through the meat there, flip him round, and then just follow that collarbone round like so, through that bone, and then round like so. So there's my turbot head. We've got the cheek in there. You've got a nice little bit of meat at the top of the neck. Got my collar on the top and the collar on the bottom. We'll trim that a little bit off there. So there is the turbot head. You've obviously got the top side here, which is a little bit plumper than the reverse, but equally, so it's a flat fish, so you have 4 fillets. You have a spine running down the middle, left hand side, the prime side, the belly side, and then the same on this side, prime and belly. So the first thing I'm going to do, you're going to start with the spine. If you lift up where you've taken the head off, you can see the spinal column just here. Small little bone structure with the jelly-like center. That just gives you a target, because it's not as easy as cutting down the middle of the fish. You want to go from that spine and then down towards the center of the tail. So I'm going to do that first. Nice heavy knife for this. So this is a deba, so it's a single beveled Japanese style cleaver. You can feel the spinal column now that I've cut all the way down to the bone. Nice, long, smooth strokes. You can use the deba for the whole thing. A lot of people like to use a flexible boning knife. I actually prefer a nice, firm knife. This is a Yanagiba, which is a single beveled Japanese slicer. So I'm going to start with long, smooth strokes, running my knife against the bone and then through the skin, like so. Release the top bit of the collar and then all the way down. Then you've got the row here, so you can just release it from that and then down, and then we call this bit the skirt. So like so. You have the fillet of the meat, you have a little bit of top bit here, we've got a few of the bones off the rib cage, then you've got this skirt bit. You can take the row out gently, just release it from the top, and then it just slides out. The row will change throughout the seasons on the sides of it. You can just put it gently out, like so. So that's the row. The turbot row, we can smoke that, cure it. So on this side, just gonna flip it round again, and then do the same on the other side. Slow cut, using the knife, following the bones. 1, 2, 3. Prime fillet, and then we've got the skirt here. All right, now the next side is a little bit trickier just because you don't obviously have the security. Now the bottom side is a bit uneven because you've taken the fish off the other side. So on this side, what we're going to do is exactly the same process. So we're going to go down the middle, following the spine. You can see almost like a very faint line, which is the backbone. Score the belly with the knife all the way down to the bone, like so. About halfway down the skirt, all the way through, right round to the bottom. And then I'll start with the belly side again. So release that top bit using the tip of the knife, which is more control. Then once I've released that first bit, then just going to use the whole knife, one long smooth cut. So the difference is now, when I get to the bit I've scored, it just releases like so. Nice, long, smooth cut. When you're prepping the fish, try and never put the skin on the flesh. So you can see here, I've always put flesh to flesh. Any bacteria that's on the fish is going to be on the skin. So whenever you've prepped it, you're just going to make sure you lay it back, flesh to flesh, rather than skin touching the skin. And if you're going to make a stock from these bones, I would always recommend you give them a really good wash. I'm going to flip my board over so it's nice and clean when I do the next stage. So just compare the 2 different fish sides there. So as you see, I've got the 2 prime pieces here. We'll deal with these now. There's the one from the underside where I haven't got as much skirt on. There's the one I did the first time. Next stage, I'm going to remove the skirt in one piece like so. So with the skirt, just going to take my knife, lay it flat, and I'm just going to skin it like you would do a normal bit of fish. So all these little bits of fish trim can go into your stockpile. So it's nice and flat, and then run it all the way across the skin. And then what you get here is this beautiful skirt. You can see these little beautiful sections of meat. Again, the skin can go into your stock, but the meat is really nice. So we're going to cook those up and serve them with our turbot fillet. So for the fillet, it's a very similar process. Got one little bone there. Just check for pin bones. There shouldn't be any pin bones on a turbot. We're going to remove the skin and then caramelize the flesh. Tip of the knife goes into the fish. On the very bottom, you have the bloodline. So you want to go like 2 or 3 millimeters higher than the skin. So if you hold your knife really flat and then just move it back and forwards all the way down the fish, like so. again, remove it like that. So you can see that's the very center of the fish. So I'm just going to remove that, but don't want to take it away in little pieces. You can take it away in one nice, very smooth cut. Like so. And then we're just going to cut some nice portions. Beautiful. Turbot, highly regarded as the king of the sea. There you go, you have beautiful main course sized portions. Nice and meaty. You would do the belly in exactly the same way. So you would just remove the skirt. The only difference is here at the top, you have a very thin sort of flabby belly bit, which again, you can just remove the top layer of sinew like so. You just cut it a bit more on the angle. And that would then go into your stock. And then you just remove your skirt and fillet it exactly the same as before. Remove the skin like so. This is obviously a 3 kilo turbot, which would cost you, give or take, probably around £60, £20 a kilo is what we pay. You might try a local fishmonger, you might pay a lot more. First we're going to get the head going. So we're going to go nice bit of oil in the pan for that one. And a little touch of oil in the pan for the fillet. Similar process to what we do with the cod's head. Nice bit of salt all over. Can take a good bit of cooking in the head. And then inside, outside. So to serve the fish, we're just going to do a very quick and easy little pan sauce. We'll just chop some parsley, some capers, a little bit of garlic. Nice and high heat for the turbot head. That'll take a while to cook. We're going to flip our head. Beautiful, that's going to go straight into the oven now. That'll take about 15 minutes, set to about 185. So we're going to lightly season our fish, oil the surface of the fish, very lightly. Got a preheated pan on a medium-high heat. Just going to place that down into the center. Hand wash, slowly caramelise there on a nice low heat. Got some sriracha butter here for my turbot head. So you saw me moving it around slightly just to create a very slight surface before I put it down, rather than just putting it onto a cold surface. So now I've got a nice sear on there. Just going to keep moving the fish around, pushing down in the centres where there's a little colour, get a really nice crust. So now I'm dropping it down to a medium heat, and I'm going to cook it about 75% on the one side. Fish is coming along nicely now. Beautiful crust there, lovely. A little bit of oil just underneath the surface. The oil underneath will burst up and just try and get that crust underneath. The turbot's quite robust. So now that's in there, I'm just going to lay my skirts in. Just cook them very similar to the fish. So they'll curl up a little bit. Just take that out, let that sit there nicely. So anywhere where there's bone needs to be around 56 degrees. Fish is 60% cooked. This pan was a little bit too hot. Got a beautiful crust on that. I'm going to flip my skirts over. They'll take a lot less cooking. I'm going to finish it with a little bit of butter. And that butter is going to form the basis of our sauce as well. So now as the butter melts, the butter will start to brown. We call this beurre noisette. It's going to finish off the cooking on the fish. So very little colour on the bottom. So you get some turbot juices leaking into the butter. And you get the butter going nice and nutty. And then this will form the base of our sauce. So the fish comes out onto the tray next to the skirts. Once it starts to go nice and dark golden brown, finish it with the lemon juice. And that will stop the cooking. That goes in, a few capers, and grate a little clove of garlic in there as well. And the garlic will just cook in the residual heat of the butter. Not a lot, just a little tiny bit. Bit of pepper. Just a little hit of lemon zest. A little touch of vinegar. Cool, so let the parsley soften there lightly, and so that's our sauce for the fish. We're going to take our head, which has been resting now for about 10 minutes, put that onto the middle of the plate so it's charred and crispy. We've then got this beautiful residual cooking liquid, which is going to add the sriracha into that to get all those lovely turbot juices. A few chopped herbs in there as well, and as always a little touch of lemon juice. Just pour the sauce all over the fish. So we do this dish in the restaurant with the cod's head, obviously. And if we ever use turbots or halibuts, we do the same dish with the heads of those. So I've got my fish here, just gonna finish it. A little bit of flaky salt, a few twists of pepper. So you see there, you've got a beautiful crust on the top of the fish onto the plate. And we've got the lovely skirt here as well. Shame to waste it when it's, you know, you're paying so much for the fish. Turbot juice into our sauce. 2 quick and easy dishes with a whole turbot.